welcome to another episode of Unfiltered. This is the last week of October. Can you believe it? Taping this on a Tuesday morning, the 30th of October, and tomorrow is Halloween. Just a reminder, everybody be safe out there. Come on. You know, I know dark costumes are a Halloween thing, but, carry little lights, wear one of them glow-in-the-dark wristbands or headbands or something. And for you folks that are out traveling around tomorrow night, watch out. There's going to be lots of kids out there begging for candy. So be careful and let's have a nice, safe Halloween this year. So, other than that, on Thursday, November rolls in. That's right. Yeah. It'll come in with no fanfare, I'm sure. Although, the forecast is for some pretty heavy rain on Thursday. So we'll wait and see, because that's all you can do. Let's jump over to where. The Rant Cam. Because this is where I do my best work. And I'm going to stay a little bit local right now, or for now, because there's some things going on here in town. And one of them is the merging of the Recreation Center and the Senior Citizen Center. Which the Senior Citizen Center is I believe is a non-profit, much like TV, much like Cheshire TV. I'm not sure how the Senior Citizens Center is funded fully. I believe the city does have some bit of money into the Senior Citizen Center. So a lot of the argument right now that I heard actually this morning, somebody they were talking. Somebody had brought up, the fact that number one, this Senior Citizen Center is a $9 million project. If you add on space to the recreation center, one thing that a lot of people didn't really talk about is the fact that there was a line in that proposal for exactly what the schools are going through. Bringing the building up to code. And making, keeping the building from falling down. Here's my problem. That's $3.5 million. That building was built in 1986, I believe. I know because I was part of the cleaning company. I worked for the cleaning company that did the final cleaning on that building after the construction crew left, before it opened. It was a beautiful, state-of-the-art building in 1986. And just like with the schools, with the library, with City Hall, with all of the facilities, they tend to put off general maintenance because they've got other things to spend the money on. They've got new buildings to build. They've got new crosswalks to put in. They got this and they got that. And they've got everything but maintaining the buildings that they already own. So within 5 years, they haven't kept up with code stuff. They haven't kept up with any basic maintenance. So then everything is a rush and a huge tax burden on the people all at one time. So before we start thinking about building new stuff, let's think about just keeping the buildings that we've got up to date. And not once every 20 years. Every single year. Make sure these buildings are right. That's the problem with growth, is it costs money. Again, the city maintenance budget was dirt cheap. Wait for it. Back in the old days when there was only one road. That's right, because it was a dirt road. See what I did there? That was a complete accident, although I should take credit for it because it's kind of pretty good. I'm not sure where I stand on this whole issue, because yes, seniors need some place that they can stay active. That's an important thing. That's one thing I wish I could get my mother to do more of, is to go out and be around people. Might help with her memory a little bit more, might help keep her alive a few more years, to get out and socialize. But she doesn't. She basically sits at home, watches the tube. I don't know. And it's sad. Let's see. On the other hand, I guess there are opportunities for seniors. I mean, I haven't really looked into it because I still feel like I'm a kid. And senior center, you join that when you're old, and I'm not ready to throw that towel in yet, Why not just more senior programs at the rec center? Why is our rec center, basically focused only on youth? Why isn't our recreation center focused on everybody, including seniors? And again, during the day, when school's in session, who's at the Y? Or who's at the rec center? Nobody. And those are the times that most seniors would be out there. And don't worry, the seniors will be out by the time school gets out because they're on their way to their early bird dinners. I can't say all old folks eat early bird dinners, but, then again, I'm a guy that I don't eat dinner until usually most nights 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. So, the fact is that you eat dinner. All right. Another thing is once again, the question has come up about public restrooms in downtown Keene. All right. Yeah, they're needed. I mean, we're not San Francisco, after all. We don't want people just crapping in the streets. We've got enough of that with you slimy dog owners that don't pick up your damn mess. Sorry, just saying. It's a responsibility thing, and I'm going to get into a little bit more of that in a little while. Bathrooms, yeah. Public bathrooms are important. Not 24-hour bathrooms. You don't need 24-hour bathrooms. Number one, A public bathroom should be overseen. It should have some sort of attendant, maybe not a bathroom attendant so much as an attendant in the building where the bathrooms is. And here's my idea. There was talk a while ago about like a police substation downtown. Maybe not a substation, but an office where, every day 2 cops are stationed there or whatever. One cop kind of stays in the office while the other cop does his rounds. Maybe then they swap off and the other one goes and does a round while the other guy sits there for a while, and have the bathrooms in that building. Talk about a way to ensure that there's not going to be any nefarious acts going on in the bathroom. You make the people that are going to the bathroom walk by a cop's desk. It creates conversation between the police and the public. Maybe the public would feel a little bit safer. Would you feel safer taking your little daughter into a bathroom if there was a cop outside? Of course you would. Something like that, and you're already paying the cops. The cops don't have to clean the bathrooms or anything. They don't have to do any extra work. And in the wintertime, the cops got a nice little warm place in there. One of them stays in there. The other one, like I said, the other one makes his rounds. And the other one makes his rounds, comes back. He's a little cold and chilly. He sits down at the desk. And the other one goes and makes his little walk around town. There we go. I solved 2 problems right there in one little friggin' 5-minute rant. The problems of bathrooms and the problems of police going around downtown. And the optics of people seeing a cop walking the beat downtown. Making sure our city is safe. After all, isn't that what it's all about? Or is it just, we don't care whether we have a safe city as long as we got a pretty city? As long as our city looks nice, we don't care if it's safe or not. As long as it looks good. No safety matters. So, all right, I've been mulling this one over here a little bit. And it's a lot of things that are kind of rolled into and I don't really know where to start. How about if you cannot afford to have children, don't have children. I'll let that sink in for a minute. Because we talk about how much we care for the children. How the government doesn't do enough to educate our children. How the government doesn't care if our children get killed in the streets. The government doesn't care. The government doesn't care. I did a huge disservice to my kids because I wasn't ready to have kids. But guess what? I had them anyway. How fair is that? Think about it. How fair is that? And some of you have thought the same way. You get married. For one thing, you really couldn't afford to get married, but you got married anyway because you're in love, and it's all the rage to get married when you're in love and blah, 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 happy family stuff. You know? And then you knock up the old lady. And you wonder, oh, geez, how are we going to get by? How are we going to get by? And you have a kid anyway. And you go, well, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. And you end up you're going on food stamps because you just can't afford to feed 3 anymore. You know, you need to ask for help from the government. Well, it wasn't the government's choice that made you have a kid. It wasn't the government's choice that you chose to get married and buy a $100,000 house and mortgage yourself in for 30 years to buy a house so you couldn't afford food. People get the first job they've ever had in their life. They expect to support a family on the first, geez, the first time I ever worked, I want $15 an hour so I can support my family. Well, what the hell are you doing having a family if you can't afford them? It does nothing. It's a huge disservice to our children. Because the children, for one thing, don't get the attention they need because you're too busy out trying to earn a living so that you can support the family that you never should have had in the first place. It's your responsibility. And maybe if people had been thinking like that, then we wouldn't have kids living in squalor today. And I'm not talking about the caravan that's coming up from South America, which it seems to me that they seem to be walking awful damn fast, covering 300, 400, 500 miles a day. Wait, is it, that sounds like a caravan of Kenyans. I mean, those guys can cover, 200 miles a day because they're fast. All I'm saying is it's responsible. Again, this is something that they should teach in school. They should teach, here's what it's going to take for you to raise a family. Number one, you're going to need a good job because you can't raise a family, on 10 hours a week worth of work. You need a job. You need to pull your weight. You need to make money. You need to save money when you're young. Something I never did. Hell, I didn't start saving money till I was in my 40s. Because life was just one big party. Yeah. And it's a shame. And again, responsible. If you can't be responsible for yourself, how the hell can you be responsible for a kid? I just don't get it. Why, man, oh man, I don't know. Anyway, the caravan thing, that's another big thing that's in the news these days. This caravan coming up of supposedly oppressed, poor, starving people coming, to beg for our help. Well, I've seen some of the footage of them at the Mexican border, and these people don't look like they're poor people asking for help. These look like the people that rioted in Ferguson, Missouri. If you're coming to ask for help, then, you know, seems like you would come up and you would be as nice and peaceful as possible and, you know, please help us, help us. These people don't look like those type of people. They don't look like the oh, please help us, you know, we're poor and destitute. I mean, these guys are friggin' throwing bottles and rocks and being violent as anything. And to me, that doesn't. And probably if they had acted like this against their own government, the government probably would have mowed them down with machine guns. You know? Again, which is it's horrible to think, but you know, if we're gonna talk about peace and rail on about peace and peace and peace, then that means peace for everybody. You know? It makes no sense to me. Everybody just wants to be violent. Because, you know, God forbid we have to tolerate somebody else's opinions and beliefs. You know? It doesn't make any sense. Again, I say this over and over and over again. You have your beliefs, I have my beliefs. Whatever you want to believe, that's fine. Believe whatever you want to believe. Say whatever you want to say. But I'm strong enough in my beliefs to let what you say bounce off. You know? Because again, that's your opinion. And you can have your opinion. I respect you for having your opinion. And all I ask in return is that you respect my right to have my opinion. Again, how simple is that, people? Yes, I don't agree with you. But who cares? You know? There are however many billions of people, 6 billion people on the earth. Every single one of them has his own very individual story and beliefs and thoughts. Every single one of them is their own sovereign person. And they have the right to believe what they want to believe, think what they want to think, say what they want to say. Period. You don't have the right to attack anybody maliciously. Now, a lot of people think that comedy and jokes is malicious attacks, and it's not. You know, a lot of old comedy was written out of differences. We point out each other's differences, each other's failings, and we all have failings. But again, until you judge yourself, don't judge anybody else. One more time. How simple is that? Don't judge anybody but yourself. And the only one that I have to be better than is the guy I was yesterday. How's that? How's that? Should I leave that as a parting remark from the Rant Cam? The only one that you have to be better than is the person you were yesterday. Let's go. Yeah. I don't know. It's been kind of a quiet week, you know, so I haven't been paying attention. The Red Sox won the World Series. Yahoo! So we're having a parade in Boston. They had a lot again. A lot of records being broken in the sports world because the Red Sox played a game Friday night, game 3, I believe, or game 3 of the series. Went 18 innings. And I'm thinking, you know, they're getting down. Eventually, they get to the last pitcher that they can use in the game. And if they put him in the 11th inning, he's going to pitch a full game. And this dude's a closer. And now he's going to pitch 7 innings because, sorry, we got nobody else to put in. How crazy is that? So yeah, it was the game, I believe, started at 8 p.m. and it ended at 3:30 the next morning. Unbelievable. So, I guess that's all my time for this week. As always, I'm Rick Blood. This is Unfiltered. Peace.